picture a lad between mom and dad. It's Sunday, the table is set. There's uncles, there's aunts, and cousins galore, but plenty of food to be ate. God blessing, we say, they reach for the bread. It's a feast a king would afford. There's clatter, there's chatter, but something's the matter. There's someone who's being ignored.
And, well, I just can't eat without bread.
There's something the matter, no bread on the platter, and he just can't eat without bread.
Hi, Martha.
Hi, Jessica. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Sunday morning, May 31st. So there's a lot going on in Chicago right now.
Sirens right now in East Garfield Park, which is pretty common.
Yeah. What's happening in your world?
Well, what's happening in my world right now is I'm trying to figure out ways to be active, even though I'm like, I don't feel comfortable going to a protest right now. I want to support people that are protesting and speaking out against injustices done on Black bodies and systemic racism. And I'm, just trying to figure out how, what's my role in that.
Mhm.
And trying to figure out how I can do that through caring for people, because that's the way that I know how to work. How I know how to act is to try to comfort and nourish others. And so I'm trying to figure out how exactly I can do that for Black people right now in our city. So it's been a rough night and morning, but I'm trying not to feel helpless or sad and get in my feelings about this, and instead figure out how to do something that makes a difference instead. So
Have you come up with any strategies yet, or still all work in progress?
because I'm already working on food relief, and because I've raised money for that I can utilize those funds to create a slightly different type of care package for that would be easier for me to put out in a short period of time. So I'm thinking more along the lines of some baked goods and a jar of honey, potentially, if I can get a partnership with a local honey provider, to get a large amount of small jars, a gift, something comforting, something
sweet.
Something sweet. Yeah, just something that makes people feel good. Maybe something savory that can be reheated, that can be made on large scale. I'm thinking
something sweet and something sustaining.
Yeah, exactly. Something comforting and something sweet. So that's where I'm at with it right now. But this is that's my dog. This is a new development just from the last hour.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit for our viewers here on Soup and Bread TV.
Hello, Soup and Bread TV.
Jessica is a Hideout bartender who, when the Hideout shut down in mid-March, immediately pivoted to creating meals for people who needed food, and under the name Care Kitchen Chicago. And you started out pretty small, and the whole thing has kind of exploded in the last 2 months. And so talk our viewers through what you've been up to since mid-March.
Yeah, so I've just been gathering donations through personal cash check, Venmo, Zelle donations, and a GoFundMe campaign to purchase ingredients and supplies for making or executing care packages full of prepared foods for anyone right now that finds themselves in need of food or stressed about how they're accessing food. So what we've done specifically is what the the last round of care packages was our 5th round of care packages. And it fed 90 people. It was around 50 care packages that went to 90 people. And if each care packages equals around like between 5 and 7 meals per person. So we're thinking that we sent out like around 600 meals, maybe a little more than that, this past round. And I started off doing like between 10 and 20 care packages for around 20 people. And I did that by myself. And it was exciting and challenging, and I knew that if I wanted to grow the numbers that I would have to like have help, but the challenges that this virus creates with being with other bodies and spaces like prevented me from getting help sooner. And so I waited until like the 3rd round of care packages to start accepting volunteer help in the kitchen. And now I wouldn't be able to do it without it. Like the numbers that we're at now and where I'd like to keep going with those numbers means that I can't keep doing it. I can't do it by myself. And I need more and more help. And I've just recently found a restaurant partnership that will be helping produce some of the meals as well, which will take some of the labor off of myself at the commercial kitchen space, which is called the Hatchery. It's in East Garfield Park, just across the street from where I live, actually. So it's really convenient. I don't have to take any public transportation to get to where I'm going. I'm at my home. I'm outside in the backyard. I'm at the hatchery. I'm not going shopping for things. Other volunteers are doing that for me, so I don't have to. I can lessen the risks that I take in order to keep this system as safe as possible in the kitchen for the people that are receiving care packages. Just been like a tricky thing too. Like it's its own other challenge. Like food service and keeping things safe for people is one challenge, but adding on top of it, like the ideas of like how you could potentially transmit something to another person, like is its own challenge. And it's been a roller coaster for me of days where I feel like, what are you doing, Romanowski? Like, this is not like you're, what are you thinking? And then other days where I'm like, yes, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing right now. Like, you're taking such good care. You've got the gloves, you've got the masks, everything is safe. Like, everything's okay. That person is that far away from you. Like, you're feeling good. They're feeling good. Everything's okay. Like, it just is back and forth. And it's never, that hasn't ended yet.
Well, from my perspective, you are doing everything you should be doing, because you seem to be just absolutely doing amazing things in the world. So you were working in food service before this, right? Like, you didn't just come to this blind. You have a lot of experience.
I went to culinary school right out of high school when I was 18, and got a job in a kitchen when there were very, very few women in kitchens that weren't pastry kitchens in 2002. And I ended up not finishing culinary school because I didn't want to work in the kitchen based on the way that the industry was at that time. Like, there were a lot of drugs, and there was a lot of chauvinism that I didn't want to be around in the kitchen. And so I just like pivoted away from it, and found myself back in restaurants a few years later, like in the front of house, and have always really loved to cook. And over, however many years I'm a multi-potentialite there. I wear many hats. I have many passions, and have found myself with a certificate in urban agriculture, and really excited about like food systems and growing foods locally and eating seasonally. And like, food is exciting to me, and the idea of working with food not in a restaurant environment is what is most attractive to me right now. It's like how do you make food, how do you grow food, prepare food, feed people all in the same place, and have it be about like the access to the food as opposed to the experience of having the
dining.
food. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Dining, I'm not like, that is something that can happen in whatever space you're in, on a step, it can happen like standing up, it can happen in your car, like it can happen at your home, it can happen wherever. Like it, for me, it's about like making sure, like thinking about food access and like making food really easy for people to both consume and also get. And so that's been like my focus, and I've been working on like a business that I would create here in East Garfield Park that could answer that question, and maybe like work as an experiment to see if a food business could be a little different, but still have like chef driven like ideas when it comes to like the way that the food is made, and it's thoughtful, and it's, you know, so sourced locally. So but I've been working at the Hideout for the last 5 years as a bartender, and it's one of the best things I've ever like had the I've had the pleasure of doing in work, is being at the Hideout, because it doesn't feel like work when you're there.
Yeah, I know. I experienced that as well.
Yeah.
And so you, after the Hideout decided to shut down and you decided to start doing the Care Kitchen project, where were you? Where are you getting your food from? You know, and who's getting the food that you're making?
Sure. Yeah. So food is being sourced from a few different ways, like either from like the grocery store, someone goes and shops for me when I need a certain thing, the restaurant depot, or in-kind donations from different organizations like Local Foods or Windy City Harvest. So these are two organizations that specifically have given a lot to Care Kitchen, and have made it possible for me to not like be able to give people like really, really great quality, like ethically sourced food products without having to spend any money on it, which is really incredible. Like for instance, I was able to like top the soup that I made this past round with this like kale, turnip, and Italian chicken sausage topper with like balsamic vinaigrette, and I like topped the soup with it. And all of those toppings were like locally sourced, like from either Windy City Harvest or Local Foods. And it just like really makes it extra special, I think.
And then people, to clarify, people don't pay for these meals.
No, these
are free meals that you are providing to the community.
Yeah. They're recurring care packages that contain between 5 and 7 meals, and it's free of charge. It is there's no vetting involved. There's no questions asked. If you are in need of food assistance and you reach out, you will be put on the list to receive food assistance and continue to get it until you asked to be taken off the list, which a couple of people have gotten to a place where they feel better about where they are financially and have said, you know what, have someone else take my spot on the list. I'm back at work now. Or, you know what I mean? So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And like, I would love to be able to like continue this service for as long as people need it, like indefinitely, if the funding is there. Like I'm working on nonprofit status so that I can like continue this service, like however long people are always going to need food. Like bottom line is like the old lady down the street is like, coronavirus is just made it harder for her to get food. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, she
was already facing a lot of hurdles.
There were a lot of people that already needed food assistance before this, and this just spiked those numbers. So I'm glad to be able to do it. Like I'm so amazed to be supported like by people's donations to be able to volunteer and do this work. So
most of the money that you're getting is coming from just donations from individuals who are giving to you through your GoFundMe.
Yeah, there have been a couple of organizations that have supported. Partake Beverage, they're a Canadian business that makes non-alcoholic beer. They are members of the Hatchery as well, and they donated they made a large generous donation to the cause. There's another organization that supports service industry workers. It's called Darkest Before Dawn. And they also like gave this very large donation on the GoFundMe. It was such a surprise. Like there hadn't been any activity on the GoFundMe at all. And then all of a sudden there was another $1,000 that showed up. And like, I didn't even know about their organization before. And now Care Kitchen is on their list of resources on their website for people in the service industry that need help. And they're a Chicago and LA organization. And so like, it's just, it's wonderful to see all the other ways that people are trying to support as well. And I hope, like, I just implore people to please reach out to carekitchenchicago@gmail.com or at Care Kitchen Chicago on Instagram so that we can give you food. Like, we have the resources, we can grow these numbers. If people like sign up for these packages, I can get them food. And I think a lot of people are like hesitant to ask for help because people are inherently good and believe that there's always someone that needs it more than them. And like, I want those people to be helped as well. But I can't help anyone if no one asks for help, you know? So if you know someone that needs help, sign them up for a care package, you know, like ask them if they would be cool about receiving this care package. Or sign up someone, like if you're out of state and your family is here and your grandparents or your mom or dad like need help right now, like let's sign them up for a care package.
Are there geographic restrictions on who you're helping? Like only the city of Chicago, only North Side, like what?
Right now we're like, the city of Chicago are our limits. However, we do have one recipient that is in Evanston. So like, there's a chance that if there were more people that needed help there, that we would be able to add them to the list and easily be able to deliver to them with our no contact delivery drivers, which is also just a list of volunteers that help me, that put on gloves, that like wear masks, that call the people right before they are there, saying that they're dropping off a package for them. And so that list of helpers can grow as well as we have more packages to deliver. Like, I think that like right now I have about 9 people that are delivery drivers. The most we ever had at one time was 7, which, and it's important for us to grow those numbers too, because the lower the number of deliveries are that the drivers have to make, the faster the food can get to the people, which means it can get back into the refrigerator as soon as possible, which is just really important when we're handling prepared foods that are cold and need to be reheated, food safety. And so they're all little parts of this that you know, we're figuring out as we go.
And are most of the people who are signed up to volunteer with you also sort of suddenly unemployed?
No.
Hospitality industry workers?
No, actually, surprisingly, a lot of the Derek's talking to me. Hey, Derek. Everything's
okay.
okay.
An interview.
I'm on a Zoom interview. It's I forgot what you just asked me.
Your volunteer base, like, are they mostly other unemployed service industry people, or?
So some people are unemployed currently, but a surprising number of people are not, and they're just working like with me in their off time, or they are 1099 employees, so they're self-employed, but their business is like they can't exactly do their business right now, or they're artists that like are, you know, they have time in between the work that they're doing to do this kind of volunteer work as well. And so yeah, it's really surprising. Like my first volunteer was someone that I went to high school with, that I sat next to in Spanish class, that like was just like this guy that I just happened to know from high school, who was one of the first people to reach out when I had posted on Facebook that I was like interested in doing this thing. Would people support it? He sent money right away. Like, he wanted to send money right away and asked to help. And he is my lead delivery driver. And he sends the emails to all the other delivery drivers so that I don't have to like have my hand in that task. And yeah, it's invaluable.
Is this like, I mean, is this like a full-time thing for you at this point?
Oh, it's more than
full-time.
It's more than full-time, but like more than full-time. And also I'm trying to learn how to like create boundaries around it to like keep myself and my body healthy. It's really easy to, when you can zen out and enjoy the work that you're doing, like I can when I'm in the kitchen, it's really easy to ignore like the needs of your body because you feel good in all these other ways. And so working really long hours, like putting in 17 hours in one day is like not acceptable. Like it has happened, and I think I've created structures where it doesn't have to happen again. But I know that when that happens and then it's followed by 2 12-hour days or 3 12-hour days, like working on this project, that I need a whole week to recover from this. Like it's my body just like needs more time to like get back to normal. And I don't want it to be that hard. I want to be able to send food once a week and not once every 2 weeks. I would really like it to be more reliable for the people that are that need the food. And so that involves like so many things, but most importantly, it involves like me feeling the best that I can all the time so that I can keep working on this project. Which means I can't spend more than 8 hours a day on it. Like I have to create boundaries around like what is like how much time is acceptable to work on.
I think that we're all sort of in this period of crisis, and a lot of people feel really mobilized to help and be active in the world, and because there's so much need and so much suffering everywhere, that it is very easy to, especially because everything's happening in the same space, so it's very easy for things to all kind of blur together. And I mean, I had the same. Some point like a week or two ago, I kind of hit the wall and I was like, you need to really like sort of manage your expectations about what you're able to accomplish at this point. And set reasonable goals.
And be gentle with yourself about it too, right? So like the first few rounds, I was so hard on myself about like how fast I had to get the food out. Like how like if I was running behind on something, I would beat myself up really hard about it. And then like that would affect the rest of what I was doing. And then I by the end of the second round, I realized, hold on, if I'm going to do this, I have to like give myself the room. I have to be super flexible with myself on my timelines. I have to give windows for delivery instead of just saying it's going to be this day for sure, right? Because if something happens, if something takes too long, instead of stressing about it, which also stresses my immune system, I can just pivot, find solutions, execute the thing in however long it takes. And it just like took me time to like get there, like to realize, hey, you're doing something for other people. Like there's not like the deadlines are ones that you've created. Like you've created them for yourself. Like these expectations you put on yourself are maybe a little more than what is healthy. And so I'm learning as I go to be gentler with myself in that respect.
One of the things that I love about your project is the way that it really, it is closing the gap between the creator, between the cook and the food giver and the recipient, the eater. And it's really, sort of like strengthening that kind of one-to-one connection, which is something that I've always really loved about Soup and Bread as well, where it's just like really putting the person who made the food. Okay, you're not literally delivering the food to them, but it's pretty unmediated relationship between you and the people who are getting your food. And so I think that that's one of the.
And when they email, it's me that is talking to them.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah,
So what?
Go
so
ahead.
when you're talking about, so you're talking about food as an act of care, and food as an act of, sort of healthcare in a huge way right now. Let's talk actually about the food. Like what kind of food are you making for people?
So I'm trying to like have a care package that's super well-rounded. I want to like hit points with it. So I want to be able to nourish people's bodies and fuel their bodies and comfort their bodies and their souls, and also like give them pleasure through food, right? Like food for me is like super pleasurable, and I like that's okay. Like pleasure is something we should revel in and take time to
right now.
And and especially right now. And so with that being said, I have a menu that has 2 hot entrees on it. So something comforting and something healthy. So like some type of comfort food or like something that would hit those points, and then something that like it might not be like the portion size might not be the smallest number of calories, but the food was cooked in a clean way without a bunch of added fats, and there's not like a big starchy thing that is, it's like a healthy plate of food. Something really easy, which is like a sandwich and a side, a large salad that has quite a few toppings on it, a soup or a drinking broth, and baked goods, something sweet and something savory. So that's what the care package has been so far. We've been able to add in some consumer packaged goods that other members of the hatchery have made, that they've donated to the care packages, and we are welcoming all types of donations of locally made packaged goods that could be added, that are shelf stable, that can be added to our care packages to make them more exciting and more filling, and for our recipients. But that's what it is so far. And people that are vegetarian get vegetarian options. And if you can't have gluten, we make sure that your food is safe. And we recently have someone who also can't have nightshades, which is something that I personally deal with. So I like appreciate that allergy. But we'll just make it happen. We'll just like make it work. It's okay that you can't eat what you can't eat. And I don't want people to feel bad about I don't want people to not sign up because they have dietary restrictions. I want people to sign up because they need food.
Right.
So.
And when we will run the, we'll run the contact information in the sidebar of the little broadcast as well. So did you come with a recipe?
Oh my gosh, I was supposed to come with a recipe.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, I can come with a recipe. I can try to throw together a recipe if you give me like a section of the menu that you were more excited about having a recipe from. Right.
I'm excited about having, because you're an amazing baker. She's an amazing baker. So let's have a baked good.
Okay. So I can send you the measurements.
Okay.
For this. But I made zucchini bread cookies last round, for round 4, as the sweet, and they were like chocolate chunk zucchini bread cookies, and it was supposed to be like, I wanted to make zucchini bread for everyone because I got a large donation of zucchinis, and then realized that making all of the I didn't have enough pans to make all of the bread that I would need to be able to feed everyone bread. So I was just like, let's turn it into a cookie, and like figured out how they came out like muffin tops, but they came out like muffin
like puffy,
like puffy, like muffin top things. But if you cook them a little harder and like let them sit and really cool, they created like a crispy outside and like a chewy inside, and they were made with vegetables and chocolate. And like got so many responses from care package recipients that were like, oh my God, I can't believe my kid loved this thing. Give me the recipe, because they would never eat a zucchini, and now I know how to like get a zucchini into their body.
That's awesome.
So it's just like I don't have a recipe, but it's like a spice bread, like clove and cinnamon and nutmeg and cardamom and chocolate chunk and zucchini, and it's delicious.
Well, send me the ingredients, and I'll write it up, and we'll put it up on the Soup and Bread website, because I wanted to get people to donate recipes just kind of as a way to to kind of like pay it forward a little bit, and also to give us something to talk about that was maybe a little like a more pleasurable than because there's a lot going on that's not so pleasurable right now. So but people love to talk about food, and people love to eat, and we need to eat, and we need to connect with each other around the food and the eating.
Yes, and make sure that there's enough of it for everyone, because there is. It's just about making sure that it gets to them.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed a lot in the last like month or so, that it seems like the big challenge right now is connecting supply and demand.
Yes.
Whether we're talking about, the sort of commodity food chain, or we're talking about the individual connecting the cook to the person in need of food.
Correct. Because there's people that can't cook their own food. There are a lot of people that are disabled that are neighbors that cannot use their stove, that can only use a microwave to reheat food, that that depend solely on restaurants and other people cooking for them. And those people are like the first ones that are affected when restaurants are closed, you know, and they're not talked about. So I would love to help more people like that. I don't know how to reach them. And so far I haven't had the way to grow like insured in order to say yes to people. Like I don't want to have to say no to people, or to say like you have to wait 3 weeks until I can get you a care package. Like that's the only reason why I haven't shared this with the like Chicago service industry Facebook page, or else I would have already done that. Like I want to help more people in the service industry. That was like what sparked this thing initially. And I surprisingly am helping like less people in the service industry and more just like everyone, like all types of different people and families, and like just because that's who's asked for help so far. So I just like want to make sure that people know about it and that they feel comfortable asking for help.
Well, we will help spread the word, hopefully, with
Thanks,
this.
Martha.
Thank you so much. We are out of time.
We did it.
What?
We did it.
We did it. Yay, TV. Thank you so much, Jessica Romanowski, Care Kitchen Chicago. She's amazing. She's a really good cook. And we will post the recipe for the zucchini bread chocolate chunk cookies, which then I'm going to make as soon as we get it. I hope you don't work today. Go home. Go.
I'm not working today. The sun is shining. I will sit in the yard and soak up the rays.
That sounds like an excellent plan. Go do that.
And more for action.
Yes.
And also call the Chicago Police Department and ask them to release people that were protesting last night.
That's on the list as well.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Go forth.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.